to another DorkLair action figure review. Today I'm taking a look at the Mythic Legions Conabus, the skeletal horse from the Necronominus wave. Right before this wave was revealed, there were a lot of predictions going around that they would do a full-blown top-to-bottom skeletal horse. I even made a YouTube video where I did predictions for this wave, but I predicted that they would not do the full-blown skeletal horse. I thought they would do like a skull head with some decorative skeletal parts, maybe like a skeletal leg or something. I did not think they would go all the way with it. So this was super impressive when they revealed it, to see that they just went all out and just did a completely brand new horse, top to bottom, just dedicating so much time, energy, sculpting, money, tooling, like all that stuff was just like mind-blowing to me. And the coolest thing about this figure is that it is all fully compatible with the other horses. So like the saddle, the armor bits, like all that stuff, you can put that on the other horses and it looks great. So they not only were they able to do a brand new horse top to bottom, but they were able to continue that intercompatibility, which just blows me away. So anyway, let's get into this review. This guy absolutely fits in perfectly with the rest of this wave. They did such a good job of having this continuity of color and style, and just having that faction really come together. It is, and the same side could be said for the knights and all the stuff that's going on with the knights in this wave as well. Like it all flows together in a design way so nice. And yeah, this guy is super cool looking. One thing I did have an issue with when I got it out was that this side of his rib cage down here was all squished in. It was all like warped from being in the box or being in the package. And like these were all pressed down this way and this was all pushed in that way. But all I had to do was heat it up, and I just stuffed the inside with like bunched up paper towels and stuff like that. And I heated it first, stuffed it, and then had this all positioned in a way that looked good to me. And then I just stuck it outside for 10 minutes in the cold, and it like solidified back up, and it's nice and stiff. It bounced right back perfectly. So if you get yours out of the box and it's like warped or whatever, heat it up, stuff it with paper towels in there, and just like get it formed to where you want it to be, and then just get it cold again, and it'll look great, and it'll be nice and stable too. And then a nice close-up of that skull portrait that has this bridle on top that has some more bone, skull, skeletal details, and a couple little pieces hanging down here. I'm not sure if this is gonna work on the other horses, because it's set up a little different with this little piece under here. I'll give it a try. We'll see if it fits. It has the usual reins that come back this way. He's got this armor piece up top. This definitely fits on other horses. I've actually already tried it. It's a super cool piece, and it's got just such a nice, weathered metallic finish over here. That carries over to this back piece. This pegs into the saddle. The saddle is actually the same. This is like the usual saddles that we get, but this piece pegs into where the bedroll usually is. Also got that nice metallic armor, some gold details. Same thing with the tail piece here. Much different tail than the other horses. This one's got some wrappings on it and stuff, but same thing with a hinge and twist there. And then, so this piece has a bunch of leather straps coming down over here. And then we've got the shields that clip on. So if I pull one off, it's got a new little clip thing, so you don't have to use the handle anymore. You can clip it on with this piece. And then we've got this collar piece that has a whole bunch of stuff sculpted into it. We've got a shield, a skull, some bones, another skull, this one metallic, another shield kind of thing, and some leather straps hanging down. So much detail. And then the bones, like the horse isn't just bones. There's still some like meat left on the bones, I guess. Like, so you've got like some stuff up here, and that's all, painted really nicely. Some fleshy kind of parts over there. You've got some in the hind legs here as well. Just so detailed and such an interesting, weird, creepy thing to look at. It's a pretty cool horse. And here he is, zoomed out with Necronominus. You can get an overall look. I don't have the wings on Necronominus. It's just makes it so big. I can't even fit it in the frame, so I just left them off for this. But this looks awesome. I mean, this looks so cool, and he's got all the cloth goods, and his little skirt piece is like soft enough where it's really effortless to get him on there. It's really not that difficult to put him on the horse and to get it all set up. It works really well. Obviously, once you involve the wings, it's a little more work, but I would say, like it's not too bad. And it's kind of difficult to say exactly how tall it is because it all depends on where you position the head. I have the head in sort of like a level here, like somewhere in between its lowest and highest point, and that's right about 7.5 to 8 inches tall. If you bring it up all the way, it's going to be probably closer to 9 inches. And then to the top of Necronominus's headdress, which you can't even see, is almost 14 inches. It's like 13.5, 13.75 inches to the top of his headdress. So if you're looking for shelf space, this will fit in a DTOF, right? Like I think they're 15-inch square, something like that. But like, yeah, it's a lot of height on this thing. Here's Conabus next to a couple other wave mates. On the left, Maxilius. On the right, Torpiculi with that double neck from the Chimera. Here he is with a Skeleton Legion builder riding him, and there you can really see the difference in the bone color between the Skeleton Legion builder 2 and the current wave. Like Conabus matches with all the other stuff in this wave, and the Skeleton Legion builder 2 has a much more like bleached out look to it. But this gives you a sense of what a skeleton's going to look like, just straight up riding Conabus, and I think it's fantastic. Here we have the Undead of Vikenfell, which I think looks awesome with this horse. I could see like for a display having like just the bare Maxilius skeleton on the horse and then have a couple of these Undead of Vikenfell next to it would look pretty sick. Here's with some good guys. All of these are various kit bashes, but we've got essentially the Templar Knight, the original Templar with Vorthog's torso and a Dalric's armor, shoulder armor, and weapons. And then in the middle is the Elijah body with the skirt pieces from Artemis Silvercord 2, and of course the Monkey King head. And then on the right, the male elf builder pack with one of the heads from the female builder pack. And here he is with a couple other horses. On the left, we have Poxus's horse Phlogius, and on the right, we have Gideon's horse Bishop from the same wave as Conabus. And these are showing you like that there's now like this really great variety, even just among the horses. So really cool kind of subline of legions with all these horses. Okay, for accessories, I'm just gonna like take the armor pieces off so you can see which pieces are removable, and just to show you how to do it. The bridle just lifts up over the top, and there's no like under the chin thing. You just have to kind of make sure you grab those reins, and it just slides down there, and here you get a sense of what that bear skull head looks like, and that looks pretty sweet. Honestly, I think that's very cool. And then this piece is pretty similar to the hair, the main pieces or the armor pieces from the other figures. It's a little bit different. This will go on those other figures, but those other ones won't really go on here because it's just got like fewer pegs, and this is just set up a little bit differently. So this is sort of a one-way compatibility where this you can put on the other horses, but the other horse hairs won't quite fit on here unless you were to perhaps modify them. And then to get this piece off here, you don't even have to remove the head, you just can slide it right up over the top. So that's another accessory. This should work just fine on the other horses. The saddle has a peg right here. This is the same saddle as the other horses, and that peg pops out like this, and then that strap, you just sort of unplug these from the back, and then that just unstraps this way. And so we got, the same saddle as the other horses. And then this back piece, just lift the tail up a little bit, and then that comes off that way. And here we have it with all of the stuff removed, so you can get a look at it. And of course, it's got all these little meat parts that kind of hold things together still, right? I don't think they could have done a truly skeletal horse, because how would it how would it hold together, right? Like it needs a little bit of some structure in there. And I think that's what these meat parts do, right? Like the spinal area, the thighs, the neck, stuff like that. You just need something to fill that space so that it'll work and be compatible and articulate and all that. But yeah, looks pretty awesome. And just to run through the accessories again real quick. So we have this back armor piece, we have the saddle, we have the front collar armor piece, the neck armor piece here, and then we have the head armor, the bridle with some bone armor there. And finally, we've got 2 shields. So even though like all this goes on the figure, it's loaded with a lot of stuff. It's just all, you know, stored on the figure itself. Okay, for articulation, the head is on a ball joint, and so that can get a lot of range. It's a nice big ball. It's seated inside that's the socket right there. So you can't really see it, but it's got a lot of good motion here in that head. It can look way down and way up. And then you do have a ball joint in the neck. And I feel like this moves even better than the a lot of the other horses. So down, up, you're going to get some gaps. Like up here, you're going to get a little bit of a gap. Down here, you might get a little bit of a gap, but that's kind of the nature of it. But yeah, a lot of good motion in that neck. Front leg, it has a hinge that can kick pretty far forward, decent amount backward, twist at that joint there. The knee can kick back and forward. That also has a twist. And then you have the foot that can go back and forward and also has a twist. The rear legs are on a ball joint, so you can actually go in and out with those. And of course, they can swing back and forth. And then you do have a hinge at that upper thigh area. And then you have a twist, and you have a twist at the knee, and the knee is also on a hinge. Very stiff joints, which is good for a large, heavy piece that you don't want like just toppling over. And then you have a hinge there and a swivel at the foot. And then finally, the tail is on a hinge and swivel as well. And here's one swap I did with Boreas. I took all of Conabus's armor, not Conabus's saddle, but everything else is from Conabus, and I put it on Boreas. And you can see that bridle, it is not sitting quite perfectly, but it's workable, right? It's like, you know, it's kind of doable. And then the armor pieces fit so well. The collar piece fits exact. That back piece with all those leather straps fits exactly. Like you can tell they were very purposeful when they designed Conabus to make sure that everything is intercompatible with the other horses, and this looks amazing. Boreas is still available on Store Horsemen in stock right now for $55. So if you want to make this like barbarian looking badass horse, just go to Store Horsemen and grab a Boreas, grab an extra Conabus, and you got it right here. Pretty sick. I'm very impressed with this figure and the fact that they were able to really like keep it compatible with the other horses and make it still feel like a big chunky substantial horse that doesn't feel like some delicate little thing that's going to like fall apart. They did a really good job in that regard. Anyway, that's it for my video. Thanks for watching, and until next time, may the force be with you.